Assalamu alaikum and good evening, everyone. I am pleased to welcome you all to the College of Law session of the Virtual Graduate Studies Open House 2020 at Hamad bin Khalifa University for the academic year 2021 to 2022. My name is Aisha Naima, a lecturer at the College of Law, and I am delighted to have this opportunity to welcome you all here today. I hope you find the event to be informative and that it helps you in your academic journey. This will be the first time that HBKU Graduate Studies Open House is conducted online. However, rest assured, this year's event will be as comprehensive and informative as past editions and more accessible than before. Our session today aims to connect you with the dean and faculty members to explore the unique academic and research opportunities at the College of Law and learn more about admissions requirements and student affairs. Our session is set to include the following: a welcome message from Dr. Imaduddin Shaheen, HBKU's interim provost, a welcome message by Dean Susan Karmanian, Dean of the College of Law, an overview of the College of Law and introduction to our faculty, an academic overview of our programs, starting with the Juris Doctor program, followed by the LLM programs presented by Professors Hilary Bell and Dr. Damilola Olawi. Admissions and application requirements presented by Aisha Almir from the Enrollment Office, followed by an overview of Student Affairs at HBKU presented by Reem Abdel Jabbar from Student Affairs. Then we will conclude with a question and answer session. Before we begin, I would like to remind you all that all lines will be muted until the end of this session. If you have any questions you would like to ask, then please kindly share them on the Q&A box below. And we will follow up with a Q&A session. Examples can be seen on the slide. I would like to start the session by playing a welcome message from Dr. Imaduddin Shaheen, HBKU's interim provost.
Dear prospective students, welcome to Hamad bin Khalifa University, HBKU, and congratulations to all of you on the first steps towards your graduate journey. My name is Imaduddin Shaheen, and I'm the interim provost at HBKU. Let me start by introducing you to the Virtual Graduate Studies Open House 2020 website. It has been designed specifically to support you in your decisions for your next academic undertaking. The Virtual Graduate Studies Open House is an excellent opportunity for all of you who are interested in pursuing a degree in one of HBKU's exceptional graduate programs across the areas of Islamic Studies, Humanities and Social Sciences, Science and Engineering, Health and Life Sciences, Law and Public Policy. We have provided dedicated sessions throughout the week for our prospective students to thoroughly explore all of what we have to offer for a vibrant and impactful student experience. You will be able to connect with experts across HBKU who will introduce our unique academic and research opportunities for students. HBKU is a member of Qatar Foundation for Education, Science and Community Development and was founded to continue fulfilling QF's vision of unlocking human potential. As a homegrown university, we are extremely proud to be celebrating 10 years of establishment and very much look forward to welcoming you on this aspiring journey. Every student who enters the HBKU community becomes our priority to inform with the rich scholarship in the field, to enhance personal and academic capacity, and to dedicate resources to empower. Each academic offering is designed to incorporate multidisciplinary education so that you are not restricted to a single approach in your interest, but rather can delve into your research interests from multiple dimensions and engage with other disciplines within and outside the classroom. With the support of a faculty body that are leading thinkers in their field and an array of academic and research resources, we strive to empower our students to become future leaders, ones who embrace an entrepreneurial mindset, think critically, even beyond the classroom, and are always in pursuit of new solutions to national and international challenges. Our aspiration is that our graduates will confidently create a positive impact in areas that inspire them and make a difference in our world today. I wish you the best of luck in your pursuit of higher education and look forward to possibly welcoming you as our latest cohort of inspired change makers.
Thank you so much, Aisha, and good evening, everyone, and we're glad that you're here with us this evening. One of the interesting things about being a lawyer is that you work with people and problems, and for me, this is one of the greatest satisfaction is to have a chance to meet new people. I wish I could see you in person, but you're going to have a chance today to learn about the College of Law at Hamad bin Khalifa University and also the amazing students and faculty who are here. I think you may be asking yourself why law? What future is there with law, and particularly given a lot going on in the technology field and the like? I can answer that question from a couple of perspectives. My personal perspective, but I think it resonates more broadly, and that is that we are looking at relationships that individuals have to each other, as well as individuals may have to governments and corporations, or corporations may have to other corporations, or states have to states. You yourself have relationships every day that you may not even be aware bring into the fore legal implications. For those of you who work, you have rules in the workplace. You have a relationship with your employer. You have relationships with various entities, probably your bank, a hospital, an airline. Your interaction, in fact, may not even be in person anymore. It's likely it could be online. And in many times you're no longer interacting with a person. You're interacting with a computer. Underlying all of these relationships are rules. And it could be a rule about a contract, or it could be about a non-contractual obligation and duties. At Hamad bin Khalifa University College of Law, we look at the sources of rules. Is it sufficient to say the rule is just that of the state, or are there customs as well that come into play? And what about other states or international organizations? What role do they play in establishing relevant legal norms? What are the standards that are imposed? And how do we go about applying standards to today's complex problems? And for those of you in particular who are working in the technology field, or who are working in some cutting edge area, you're probably already thinking about problems that I am not aware of, anticipating problems. So let's take, for example, two situations. One we're quite familiar with here in Qatar, and that is the situation with the blockade. Well, what does international law have to say about the blockade? And in particular, the relationship between families, perhaps families that were separated, or students who couldn't get their degrees. Where could a state go to get relief from a perceived injustice? Or let's take another example. We're all familiar with the difficulties associated with war. But what about property during war, and specifically cultural heritage? What rules are there to prevent somebody from looting cultural artifacts and the like? These are the kinds of problems that we examine here at Hamad bin Khalifa University College of Law. It's important for you to appreciate that we are first and foremost a community. Our faculty comes from the best law schools in the world. You will learn more about them shortly, but they're here to cause you to ask some very hard questions, to learn about substantive legal principles, to put those principles in context, whether it be in a policy context or in the context of science. The big debate now, of course, the role of science in dealing with the pandemic, and then applying them to new situations. You will be asked to develop critical writing and analytical skills. You will learn what it means to work in a team. You'll understand that developing legal skills means developing judgment and building relationships. So in addition to being immensely proud of my colleagues on the faculty and our amazing staff, we have phenomenal students. And some of you already may have met some of our current students or our graduates, and I'll talk to you in a few minutes about them. But this is our community, this is our home, and we're anxious to hear from you, to know that you may be interested in being part of our home. So with that in mind, let me just quickly put HBKU in context. I'm sure some of you may be familiar with Hamad bin Khalifa University, as Dr. Shaheen said in his welcome. We are a member of the Qatar Foundation, and we're in our 10th year. The Father Emir, His Highness, established Hamad bin Khalifa University. We're here in glorious Education City, surrounded by some of the best universities in the world, and we have the good fortune of being able to work closely with those universities and to add legal dimensions to their work. We have a mission in terms of helping to solve problems and the challenges, not just for Qatar, but for the world. We take throughout Education City and Hamad bin Khalifa University in particular, a multidisciplinary academic approach, and looking also at issues that are relevant to the Qatar national vision as well as the UN Sustainable Development Goals. Collaboration is what drives a lot of our work, whether it be with other institutions within Education City, but also here at HBKU Law, we have relationships outside of Education City that are absolutely critical to our work. Just so you could put the College of Law in perspective, you can see that HBKU has the 6 colleges. And then it has the 3 research institutes, and some of my colleagues work closely with those research institutes, as well as it has a couple of centers too. So you can see where we fit into the Hamad bin Khalifa University as well. We do have, though, a mission and our goal of being a world-class provider of legal education. Emphasis on world-class and emphasis on law, with an international reputation for quality and innovation in teaching and research. Our students come from a range of disciplines. We are a graduate law school, and you'll hear more about that in a few minutes. But our students, we have had in the student ranks doctors, military officials, engineers, healthcare officials, professors from other universities as well. And we teach the law in developing skills necessary to work in diverse legal systems. I think we are probably one of the few law schools in the world that can say we're truly comparative, bringing together the civil law, the common law, and Sharia. All 3 inform Qatari law. And as I've mentioned a couple of times now, we're here to prepare law graduates to identify and resolve problems arising from complex events and transactions across the region and throughout the world. We have 3 degrees that we offer. The first degree is the Juris Doctor degree, and it's the first one that was offered in the MENA region. It's a graduate level degree based on a U.S. Model. And so students have a first degree, whether it be in engineering, computer science, in foreign affairs, and then they pursue the 3-year JD degree. And we also have 2 LLM degrees. These are also graduate level degrees. and they were developed specifically with Qatar and the region in mind, and the first one being in international economic and business law, and the second one in international law and foreign affairs. Our alumni, and I'm sure this is of interest to you, what are the opportunities if you pursue the 3-year degree, JD degree, or an LLM? We have alumni working in legal departments, whether it be at Qatar Petroleum, Siemens, the Supreme Committee for Delivery and Legacy, as well as in the Ministry of Commerce and Industry and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. The other important aspect of our law faculty is that even though we're just 5 years old, our graduates have gone on to some of the best LLM programs in the world. I can say this is remarkable. We have 2 students this year at Harvard Law School. One of our graduates will be starting at Duke Law School next semester. Another graduate recently graduated from New York University School of Law, and another from Georgetown University Law Center in Washington, and the Graduate Institute of Geneva. And so the opportunity, if you come and pursue the JD degree in particular, and if you want to then do further graduate studies, for example, outside of the region, we have a track record of students going to some of the best law schools in the world. Yet, as I mentioned at the beginning, to me, one of the most unique aspects of our college is the faculty and the professors who are here. We have a diverse student body, 8 nationalities. We have 70% Qataris as well, but we've been able to have a number of nationalities. We're extremely excited about the relationship that we have built over the years with our local Qatari students who have then gone into the various ministries, or with it was really neat seeing the video earlier. One of our graduates from a couple of years ago was in the video, and he's working at the Qatar Financial Center in labor issues and the like. But it's the faculty that I think distinguish our law school, and I think it's important to be able to have an opportunity to hear a few words from them. And so I will first introduce Professor Ilias Bantikas, who has his PhD from Liverpool University, and Professor Bantikas is an expert in international law. He has worked closely, though, in the intersection of both public international law and private international law. He's written some of the leading works in the area of international human rights law and also in the area of international arbitration. Professor Bantikas, would you like us to say a few words, please, to our community this evening?
Thank you for the introduction, Dean. It's a pleasure to be here on the panel today and to see so many people, 39 participants so far, which is a remarkable number, I have to say. The only thing I have to add is that I think you've said it all. And I was I was a professor in the UK for 20 years at Brunel University, in the University of London. I've taught a place like Harvard, elsewhere around the world, and I have to say that this program is one of the leading programs. I think certainly top 3 in Asia, and it would compare with the top 10 law programs in Europe as well. So that really says a lot for a new program, which has only been going for the last 5 years. And I think the fact that our students are able to progress to top employers and also top programs, law programs around the world, speaks volumes about the quality of the program itself. And I look forward to seeing prospective applicants to our program. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much, Professor Bantikas. And then the second faculty member I'd like to introduce you to is Professor Zachary Kalo, who holds his law degree from the University of Virginia and also has a PhD in history from the University of Pennsylvania. Professor Kalo, do you want to say a few words? He works in the area of sports law, as well as in the area of freedom of religion and alternative dispute resolution, too. So, Professor Kalo? He was with us a second ago. There you are. Can you unmute, please?
Yeah,
thank you.
Go. Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Sorry. Good evening, everybody, and thanks for joining us. Let me just briefly, I'll just briefly mention my background. I've been here now for 6 years, so I was part of the original founding faculty, and I teach the first year course in property law, the second year course in legal ethics, and the third year course in sport law. I came here after teaching for about 10 years in the U.S., and before that was a banking lawyer in Washington, D.C. And I work by way of research as the dean mentioned, in sports law, in international mediation, international commercial mediation, and also in law and religion. So thank you again for joining us, and we hope to be in touch.
Great. Thank you so much, Professor Kalo. And I would like to now introduce my colleague, Professor Damalola Olowe, who teaches in the area of energy law as well as in the area of environmental law and sustainability. And he created the award-winning course on entrepreneurship law. He holds the DPhil from Oxford University as well as the LLM from Harvard Law School. Professor Damalola, the floor is yours. If you could also get the camera on too, that'd be great. Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much, Dean, and it's a great pleasure to join you this evening and to say hello to our prospective students. Like the Dean mentioned, I teach in the area of oil and gas law, and my background is that of business law. I'm a business lawyer. I joined from Canada, where I was practicing at Norton Rose Fulbright in the Calgary office. And so I've spent a good number of my time working, advising clients on how to acquire oil and gas assets in different parts of the world. And of course, when I saw the program here, it was of great interest to me to be part of the faculty, given my interest in oil exploration and given Qatar's strength in that area. So I always tell my students that the fact that you study in Qatar, the whole world expects you to know something about oil and gas law. So I try to structure the courses in that way that you would be able to acquire international experience, both from the perspective of what is happening in Qatar and how oil and gas transactions take place in Canada and different parts of the world. So we look forward to welcoming you. As the Dean mentioned, in addition to oil and gas, I do a lot of research and writing on environmental law as well as entrepreneurship law. So anything business is of great interest to me. Thank you very much.
Great. Thank you so much, Professor Olowe. And now it gives me great pleasure to introduce you to Professor Hilary Bell. And Professor Bell has the LLB from Glasgow University and the LM from Robert Gordon University. Professor Bell teaches in legal research and writing and also in our advocacy, like standing up in court and presenting a case. And she works also very closely with the students in their moot court competitions and other activities. So Professor Bell, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. It's my great pleasure to talk to you this evening. We're very keen to meet with all of you that are interested in joining the JD program. I myself have lived in Qatar for 8.5 years. I practiced law here. I'm familiar with Qatar civil law and common law. I also previously taught at Qatar University in the legal writing program. This year we have a big moot court team that we're taking 9 students from our current JD program, including, and this is exciting for those of you interested in joining, 4 of our team members are in their first year of their studies. So this is something that you could be doing this time next year, taking part in an international legal competition with 400 other teams from different countries and different universities. This is something I hope you will be doing with me this time next year. And if you have any questions, you can contact me directly.
Great. Thank you so much, Professor Bell. And I will introduce Professor Dimitropoulos. I apologize, but I just rushed ahead. Professor Dimitropoulos is a graduate of Heidelberg, University of Heidelberg, where he did his PhD, but he also has the LLM from Yale Law School. And he teaches in the area of administrative law and also international investment, economic and trade law, and has recently been looking at artificial intelligence, blockchain, and I still don't understand the whole area, but he's been looking at the legal regime dealing with cryptocurrencies and the like. So, Professor Dimitropoulos, the floor is yours, and I'm sorry, I just went out a little out of order.
Thank you so much, Dean. Welcome, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today, and we will look forward to seeing you in the next couple of months, as well as, of course, in the next year in one of our programs. As I did mention, my name is Juris Dimitropoulos. I'm an associate professor at the College of Law. I'm in my 5th year now at the college, and I've been very proud of being part of this distinguished faculty. We have tried to create something new here, and I think very successfully. As was presented earlier both by the provost and the dean, both the university and the college present something new to you, both in terms of the methodology, the way we study the law, as well as the subject areas. I myself, I teach administrative law. That's in the 2nd year of our JD program, as well as in one of the 2 LLM programs. I also teach global economic law and governance, which is an advanced course in international economic law, dealing mostly with trade and investment matters, as well as sovereign wealth funds, as well as a course in our LLM programs, a very unique course called Research Methods in Law, whereby we're trying to teach our students the ways in which they can develop their skills in academic legal writing and research, together with my colleague Aisha Al-Nama. Qatar is a wonderful place to study the law, because it is home to many different rules. We have the Qatari law, which is the civil law. We have also the free zones. We have the Qatar Financial Center. This presents a unique mix of legal orders that we invite you to study with us. Thank you so much, and we look forward to seeing you soon again.
Great. Thank you so much, Professor Dimitropoulos. And now I would like to introduce Professor Eleni Polymonopoulou, who did her PhD at the University of Grenoble. Professor Polymonopoulou is an expert in the area of international human rights law. And earlier I had talked about cultural heritage, and that is one of the areas I know she's spending a good bit of her time now working on, having also just recently had a fellowship at University College London in that area. And she also teaches one of the introductory courses to the first-year students on global legal systems. Professor Polymonopoulou, would you like to say a few words, please?
Sure. Thank you, Dean. I'm so glad to be part of this open house event, and I just hope that this situation ends soon and we will be able to meet in person soon in the classroom. So I joined HBKU in 2018. I have worked before in the UK as well as in France. I have worked with non-governmental organizations in the area of refugee rights, also in the area of freedom of expression. My research is on human rights law, and as the Dean said, specifically also in the area of cultural heritage law and the intersections between arts and the law. You will be seeing me in your first year for a course on global legal systems, so to understand foundational notions of law. It will offer you, if you want, the tools, the intellectual equipment to understand how the legal systems around the world, the various legal systems operate globally. Then I will be teaching you also international law, media and cultural law, as well as advanced human rights law. And again, this is a unique program in the region, and it's a great opportunity to do these courses. So looking forward to seeing all of you soon as prospective students.
Great. Thank you so much, Professor Polymonopoulou. And now I would like to introduce you to Professor Barry Solomon, who holds the PhD from Cambridge University. He has done extensive work in the area of healthcare law and also with a focus on institutions in Qatar, as well as in the area of constitutional law and tort law. Professor Solomon, the floor is yours.
Thank you for the introduction, Dean Susan. So to the attendees here, can we swap places, please? Because I would love to be applying to do this JD degree. And I mean that. I've always been envious of the students who get to do this as a degree. I know I went to Cambridge and other good universities in the UK, but this degree is really something unique and that I've never come across before in terms of the mix of different areas of law. You have here an outstanding law school in the Middle East, in my view, that's unparalleled, with an exceptional faculty, again, in my view, that's unparalleled in the region. And it's such a unique opportunity that you have that I would encourage you to grab with both hands and apply. We're now growing into a family. We've been going for a few years. We've got a number of alumni now who, as the Dean mentioned, are doing very well, whether that is in their place of work, whether it's in further studies, going to Europe or the US, top universities. We are building, I think, a very substantial network and a brilliant one at that. So that's just sort of my, I suppose, my background context that I'd give you to the degree. Now, to me, I teach healthcare law, constitutional law, and injury law. So we cover the whole range of topics in my course, for example, on healthcare law, whether it's working with local institutions, the Ministry of Public Health, the local hospitals. We have some of the leading people in their areas come to speak to our students. For example, we've got the head of the Organ Donation Center, the head of the psychiatry department, leaders in the ministry, and so on and so forth, who come in and speak to our students directly. So we're embedded very well in the community, and I think that runs across all the courses that we have here. And further, beyond the topics that I teach, I'm quite involved with the students here in the law school and helping you to develop. So whether that is future job opportunities that you're looking for, or whether you're trying to establish opportunities for each other to participate in through the Law Society, there are all sorts of things to get involved in. And so I'm quite close with the students, and we develop a really good relationship throughout this 3 years that you have with us. So I'll be happy to talk about that and answer any questions that you have at the end. So I'll pass back to you, Dean.
Thank you very much, Professor Solomon. And I would now like to introduce you to Professor Alexander Ezenaga, who has the PhD from McGill University, as well as an LLM from Cambridge University, and he's an expert in the area of tax law. Alexander, do you want to say a few words?
Susan, and congratulations to everyone attending this event. As the provost said, it's the first step towards considering and hopefully earning a law degree. As mentioned, my expertise in international tax law, however, at HBKU, I teach a broad range of courses, including infrastructure development law, commercial law, business associations, global legal ethics, and part of entrepreneurship law. And what we try to do here is sort of to contextualize issues around trade, tax, development as one whole issue that should be sort of understood by every lawyer out there, as we've come to learn from time to time that they're quite very interrelated. And I'm sort of really excited to have many of you join us at HBKU and sort of, building this beautiful community that we have. Congratulations once more, and I hope that we'll get to meet again soon in person.
Great. Thank you so much, Professor Azanagu. And you already you heard from Aisha Al-Nama. Aisha is our lecturer here at the HBKU College of Law, and she did her first degree in Education City at Virginia Commonwealth, and she has an interest in design. And then in law school, at the HBKU Law, she did the Juris Doctor, where she developed an interest in application of intellectual property law to protect design and the like. Aisha, do you want to say a few words to everyone?
So, as Nadine had mentioned, I'm a graduate of Education City in my first degree in design, graphic design specifically, and then I did my Juris Doctor. I'm a big fan of multidisciplinary research and academia in general. So the JD program was the perfect fit to do that, to practice that. And you must have noticed, given the background of each faculty member, that they are multidisciplinary in themselves. So that was a great learning opportunity and exposure. In terms of research, my focus is on intellectual property law and development, as I'm interested in the area of development as well. What else? Professor George had mentioned that I worked with him in delivering a course on research methods in law, and it's been very rewarding. I've taught it now for twice in a row, and I'm on my second year in the law school.
Great. And Aisha, you're also working on some research too. Do you want to share a bit about that, please?
So one of the topics that I'm looking at is the interaction of BRICS countries and the influence on the dynamics under the WTO, specifically under the TRIPS agreement. And then the other one is done or co-authored, we're working on it with Professor George, and it looks at basically special economic zones as policy experimentation tools.
Oh, well, that's great. Thank you. And just by way of my own background, I've been here for 2.5 years as the Dean of the College of Law and was previously at the George Washington University Law School, where I was the Associate Dean for International Law for 17 years. And before that, I practiced law for 14 years. I am a courtroom lawyer, so I would go to court, and I typically represented corporations in dealing with whether it be antitrust cases, including a major global price-fixing case, or securities fraud cases, contract disputes, a lot of oil and gas litigation. I practiced law in Texas, so you would get fascinating litigation, including representing foreign clients, and I was lucky to represent a foreign government when I was very early in my legal career. But one of the things that I enjoyed as a lawyer was the skills it gave me and the authority to represent those who are in need and to work in areas of administration of justice. And so I did a lot of pro bono work for people who were facing execution in Texas, and spent at least of my 14 years at the firm, 8 of those years, in addition to doing my regular work, I was representing men who were facing execution and actually saved one man's life, and he is now free. And so all of that has, by way of background, been a wonderful fit for this community, because I do have a strong interest in international law and the relationship between public and private responsibilities of corporations in the human rights realm, specialized courts, since I used to go to court and the like. So that's just by way of background, and I have the pleasure of co-teaching with Professor Azanagu the commercial law course. I also teach a contract drafting course, and it's just been such a delight to work with all the students at HBKU Law. And then one other thing before we have a message from our program directors is just about the relationships of the law school. And this is just a sample, but I went ahead and put this together. The HBKU Law, as you may just have heard from the faculty, each of our faculty members is highly engaged inside HBKU and Education City, and also outside, whether it be with ministries here in Qatar, or the free zones, as you heard about, or hospitals, or sports institutions, or international organizations, and the like, and so we do have some more official alliances, and so we have a wonderful partnership with the Qatar International Court and Dispute Resolution Center, and we regularly put on series of events dealing with whether it be litigation-related issues or more substantive issues with the center, and you can go to our website and see some of those webinars. We're an academic partner of the American Society of International Law. And that has given us some benefits to our students, and some of the faculty members are also very active in the society. We put together, HBKU put together with the Juris Institute a course on major sports events. And then Professor Olowi is the founder of the Association of Environmental Law Lecturers in Middle East and North African universities. And so this is just some of the relationships that we have, but part of, when you're thinking of going to a university, you want to think about, obviously, what will this mean in terms of what I will learn, but what does it mean for the future? We feel very strongly that we are preparing you to work in this dynamic environment. We think we do it as well as any school in the world, but also going to a law school or any faculty, you want to have opportunities. And those are the things that happen here at HBKU. We bring the world here. The webinars have actually helped us to engage with people who otherwise couldn't take the time to get on an airplane and come here, but we've had that before as well, and once things open, we'll continue to have our in-person events and the like. But if you come to HBKU Law, you're going to have faculty who work closely with so many different institutions, and they're more than happy to take you under their wing to help you meet some of the leading lawyers or the leading government officials, to supervise you in specific research that you would like to be involved in, and the like. So with that, I would like now to pass the floor over to Professor Bell, who is going to give a little more detailed introduction to the 3-year Juris Doctor program.
Thank you, Susan. So the 3-year Juris Doctor program is broken down into 2 distinct parts. For the first 18 months, we will be laying the groundwork with you. We understand that you're coming on most likely without any legal experience, and for the first 18 months, we will take you through 3 semesters, laying down the groundwork so you can understand legal doctrine, understand how to analyse law, how to build your reasoning skills, and how you can apply law in legal practice. We will do this, as Dean Susan has explained, from a comparative perspective. We will train you to navigate from one legal system to another. You will learn a number of different legal systems operate. So whether you are operating here in Qatar in Qatari law, or if you are going to be practicing in the United Kingdom, the United States, you will be exposed to each of these different legal systems. After you have completed the first 3 semesters, we will move to the second part of the Juris Doctor, and in that part we build and elaborate on the foundations in the context of the major sectors in Qatar. So we'll be really exploring the main areas of commerce here, construction and infrastructure development. We will look at projects, how they operate in the region, how they are governed by the laws here, how they're governed by laws in other jurisdictions. We'll look at criminal law and procedure, energy law, oil and gas, environmental law. As Dr. Barry has explained, we will look at healthcare law, and we will specifically look at how that's operating in Qatar. As we know, with been a huge investment in healthcare law here. It's something that's really, in healthcare, and the legal regulation of that is a growing area. We'll look at human rights law with Dr. Eleni, as you've heard, global finance and investment law, media law. Al Jazeera is one of the largest media operators in the world based in Qatar. Sports law, as you know, the World Cup is going to be hosted here in 2 years' time, and sports law is very much a growing area that we will be looking at. As you can see in the top of the slide, there are targeted courses, there's professional skills training. I will teach you dispute resolution courses, how to negotiate, how to write to a client, how to break down the legal problem into advice that you would give to a client. As it also states in the slide, there's a possibility of internships. We will set students up with appropriate internships in the areas that they're interested in. In the past, we've had students go to the International Court of Justice and do an internship there. Also, on a personal note, my first interaction with HBKU, I was practicing in Qatar with the largest law firm in the world, and I was contacted and asked if I'd be happy to have an intern come and work with me in the law firm. And knowing the reputation of students at HBKU Law, I was delighted to have someone join me. And that intern is Aisha Al-Nama, who is our Master of Ceremonies today, an absolute credit. And I can still remember very fondly sharing an office with Aisha, having her do just outstanding work for me. I remember bragging to all my colleagues about the amazing work my intern was doing for me, and it just makes my heart glad to have her as a colleague now. It's a very nice symmetry to it. On the right hand of the slide, you'll see there's a reference to student funding. Usually the majority of the student fees would be covered. There are some fee waivers available. These would not cover the full tuition, but normally the larger part of the tuition would be covered by the fee waiver, with a small proportion paid for by the students. And as soon as you apply and are accepted to the programme, we will be able to discuss that with you further, but funding is available for the larger part of the fees. If anyone has any further questions about the JD, I will be available for questions at the Q&A at the end. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much, Professor Bell. And I think the interesting thing about the program, when you look at it, it gives you the foundation, the building blocks to go to the next level, all highly structured and thought out, thinking about the needs of Qatar and the region, but also what you would expect in terms of the skills a good lawyer would have. And also thinking back, Professor Bell, to the internship, I remember a couple of years ago, a law firm in town called us and said, we really want to have one of your students as an intern. And Professor Bell conducted the interview, a mock interview, to get the student ready, and the student had a wonderful time at the law firm. The law firm was so happy, and that's one of our students who's now at Harvard Law School. So thank you so much for all of your hard work with our students. Professor Olowi, do you want to say some remarks about the LLM in International Economic and Business Law, as well as the LLM in International Law and Foreign Affairs? Professor Olowi chairs our Graduate Programs Committee.
Susan. Well, the master's program is a postgraduate research-focused program that is designed for those that want to specialize in an area of law, in terms of conducting focused research that will lead them to having expertise in a specific field. And given Qatar's strength as a major hub for business, we have designed the LLM in International Economic and Business Law as a one-year research program that would allow anyone to come in here and work closely with our team of experts, our faculty members, who would guide them to produce substantial research in that area and to widen their horizon and knowledge in areas relating to international business and to problem-solving skills that they need to be the leaders in the field. So the curriculum is divided into mandatory core courses and electives, which consists of 31 credits. And the 31 credits, of course, we have 25 credits for core courses and 6 credits for the thesis. Normally, our students are able to complete the thesis within 12 to 18 months. So it's really meant to encourage students to develop their own topic, their own interest, and then pursue it with the guidance of the faculty member. The core courses that students do take in the program are the research method in law, which is taught by Professor George and Aisha. And the whole idea is to introduce students to the fundamentals of conducting research that will make impact or add to the development of the society, especially research focused on the Qatar national vision. Then in addition to that, students take the global legal ethics course, which exposes them to the core skills required to practice law in multiple jurisdictions while of course doing so in line with the ethics of the profession. And students are able to pick some of these electives: contract law, commercial law, infrastructure development law, and for those that are interested in dispute resolution, the international arbitration course, which is taught by Professor Ilyas Bantekas, is very important because it exposes you to the skills required to be able to apply ADR, alternative dispute resolution methods, in resolving economic and business disputes. The global economic law and governance course is also very, very important as it exposes students to the fundamentals of doing business in multiple jurisdictions. And of course, it also exposes them to core international requirements under the WTO rules and international investment treaties generally. And of course, the energy course that I teach is where if you're interested in oil and gas and petroleum contracts, how to draft a petroleum contract, or how to negotiate one on behalf of the state, or how to how to advise clients that are wishing to come to Qatar to invest in the oil and gas sector, then the energy law course is designed especially for that. So the International Economic and Business Law program is very, very, we also have components of it that allow you to acquire practical skills, especially the entrepreneurship law course, which exposes you to the practical skills needed for effective negotiation and for effective presentation. The next LLM is the LLM in International Law and Foreign Affairs. And again, this is designed, we've seen that over time, some of our students have come from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs or those interested in negotiation generally or working, representing government in decision making. So we've designed this program to give them the world-class skills and knowledge required for policy decision making, especially in representing the interest of the country in addressing some of the global challenges facing the world. So this program is really ideal for lawyers or non-lawyers who wish to immerse themselves in the intricacies of international regulation in the fields of sustainable development, energy and environment, infrastructure development, healthcare, new technologies, anti-corruption, and the global economy. So it really provides an opportunity for either those that wish to specialize as non-lawyers in international relations, or those that wish to specialize in international law, then this will be the ideal degree for them. Of course, like the other LLM, it's divided into mandatory core courses and electives for a total of 31 credits. And out of that, 6 credits will be for a thesis, which again would allow a student to work closely with a faculty member. And we've seen students write to conduct research on very interesting themes especially now with the blockade. We've seen a lot of students write interesting papers on how to resolve the blockade in a very forward-looking manner, or how to address some of the impact of the blockade, for example, on that would allow you to conduct those sort of focused research that would allow you to increase your knowledge in the intricacies of diplomatic work, especially getting the skills and qualities required for a career in international affairs in this increasingly globalized world of ours. So the thesis is, again, you would be able to work with a faculty member that would guide you in that area. That's after taking the foundational courses research methods in law, global legal systems. The global legal systems course is very important, taught by Professor Eleni. It allows you to acquire the the skills needed to understand the intersections between practicing law in either a civil law jurisdiction or a common law jurisdiction. You'll be able to acquire that all-round knowledge. And then when you take the global legal ethics course, you would again learn about the skill set required to be an international lawyer. The international law course and the administrative law courses are very important in terms of understanding the functioning of government agencies, both domestically and internationally. Then you will be able to pick elective courses in international, elective courses in this broad field of international law and global governance. For example, the environmental law course that I teach would help you understand some of the workings of the United Nations Environment Programme in terms of addressing some of the core environmental challenges facing our world, whether you're talking about climate change or you're talking about the transboundary movement of hazardous waste or the stratospheric depletion of the ozone layer. Those are the sort of topics that you will be able to explore in environmental law. The International Criminal Law course, another elective where you can understand the workings of international criminal courts. With Professor Bansikas, you'll be able to understand how the complex aspects of holding people to account in terms of international crimes. And I think the Advanced Human Rights Law course and the likes, these are all designed to give students the exposure to understand the intersections of common law, civil law, and the Sharia traditions. And when you combine these courses with the unique research opportunity in terms of conducting your own research in a unique field, then at the end of 12 to 18 months, students are ready to take their place as global leaders, either in business or in international diplomacy.
Great. Well, thank you so much, Professor Holloway, for introducing the two LLM programs. Just in terms of contact information, we have two individuals at the law school who are absolutely essential. Nisha Dougal, who's the executive assistant, and Cindy Amatis, who is our graduate programs and special events coordinator. We can have this PowerPoint sent to you, so you'll have their contact information. You have the names of the faculty, and I trust you'll be able to remember the face with the names. You can Google them, get their emails if you have questions as well. We're a very open community, and we look forward to hearing from you. Now, it gives me great pleasure to introduce Aisha Almir from our admissions office. Aisha's worked closely with the College of Law over the years for both the JD and LLM admissions program. And Aisha, the floor is now yours. Thank you very much for joining us this evening.
Hi, hello everyone. So today I'll be talking to you about the admission requirement and the application requirement. I'll start with the admission requirement. So for the JD program, you're required to have a bachelor degree with a strong academic record. Applicants from all fields are welcome to apply. We do not require someone with a low background. The whole idea of studying the JD program is the introduction to law. So any applicant from any fields are welcome. So the minimum GPA is 3 out of 4. For the LLM in international economics and business law, you are required to have an LLB or a JD degree. So a low background and a low degree is required for this program. And the minimum GPA required is 3 out of 4 with a preference of 3.3. So if we have a big field and big list of applicants, we'll be looking more at the people with 3.3 rather than 3. But the minimum to be accepted at this program is 3. And then for the LLM in international law and foreign affairs, you're required to have, again, a minimum GPA of 3 with
strong preference giving to candidates with a 3.3 and above. So the fields we accept for this program is law, international relations, political science, history, economics, business and finance, sociology, anthropology. For other majors, the committee will have to decide. But for now, these are the majors which are required for this program. For all our programs, you are required to submit an IELTS of 6.5 or above, or a TOEFL of a score of 79 or above. Exemption is available if you have studied your course in English, so your degree is in English, or you have studied in an English-speaking university. So if you did one of each or either, you don't have to submit the IELTS score. And for the application requirement, so all our applications are online. You have to submit an academic transcript. If your GPA is not out of 4, then you have to submit a grading skill. This is mainly for the UK, for countries where they use letter grading rather than the GPA grading. So you are required to submit a grading skill. Official TOEFL or IELTS, a personal statement, passport and ID, the CV or resume, and 2 recommendation letters sent directly to us on the email shown below, which is recommendations@hbku.edu.qa. So we do not accept any recommendations sent directly from the applicant. And you are required to submit them with your application. So your application is not going to be reviewed if you're missing one of these documents. So our deadline is for Qatari and resident March 15, and for international applicants February 1st.
Great.
For more information, you can visit our website or email us on the admissions email. Thank you.
Thank you all for your presentations. Thank you, Aisha, Professors Hilary Bell, Jamilola, and of course, Dean Susan for your remarks. So now the last presentation is about student affairs, and I would like to welcome Reem Abdel Jabbar to talk about student affairs.
Thank you, Aisha. Hi everyone, my name is Reem Abdel Jabbar. I'm the head of student engagement at Hamad bin Khalifa University. HBKU Student Affairs aims to provide an innovative social, sports, residential, and academic sports programs and services to achieve targeted HBKU student outcomes, such as student clubs, writing centers, health and wellness, career professional sessions, and CV clinic workshops. Now, please allow me to share with you a video of student life services and programs.
قسم المشاركة الطلابية في إدارة شؤون الطلاب هو أحد الأقسام الداعمة للطلاب في جامعة حمد بن خليفة، والذي يسهم بشكل كبير في دعم الطلاب وإشراكهم وإخراطهم في الأنشطة غير الأكاديمية. هناك أنشطة رياضية، هناك أنشطة ثقافية، هناك أنشطة تعليمية، جميعها تكون خارج المنهج التعليمي، ولكن كلها يصب في النهاية نتائجها تصب في النتيجة التعليمية لكل طالب.
كل سنة الفرق عندنا عددها يكثر. عندنا لحد الآن 6 فرق رياضية، فريق كرة قدم فئة بنين، فريق كرة سلة فئة بنين وبنات، فريق كرة طائرة بنين وبنات، وعندي فريق فئة شباب كريكت.
احنا طبعا نتواصل في إدارة شؤون الطلاب من خلال إدارة التواصل المجتمعي وشؤون الطلاب مع الجامعات الشريكة الموجودة في قطر فاونديشن من خلال ما يسمى بالكارير سيرفيسز اللي هو الخدمات المهنية. قمنا في السابق في موضوع اللي هو المعرض المهني كارير فير. أيضا عملنا في السابق برنامج كان لقادة المجتمع، دعينا فيه معظم رؤساء الشركات وأيضا بعض الوزراء للتعرف على الجامعة وتعريفهم ببرامج الجامعة اللي تطرحها.
احنا في إدارة شؤون الطلاب نهتم خاصة في ناحية العلاقات المجتمعية كتوقيع اتفاقيات كزيارة الشركات الخاصة والغير خاصة للتعريف عن جامعة حمد بن خليفة وتواصل اتفاقيات من ناحية توفير فرص للطلاب أو للخريجين، أو أنك إذا شركات أو القطاع الخاص عندهم مثلا وجهات نظر كالتعاون ممكن احنا نخدمها تحت إطار اتفاقية أو تحت إطار اللي هو تعاون مشترك ويانا.
If you have any inquiry, here are our contact details. Thank you.
Thank you, Reem. We will now conclude by the Q&A session, and we'll go over some of your questions. I would still like to encourage you to share your questions in the Q&A box, and we will go through them. So for the first question, we have, if the university admission papers are in Arabic, do they need to be translated? Aisha, would you like to respond to that?
Yes. So if the transcript, I think they're saying about the transcript. If the transcript is in Arabic, it needs to be translated. But we also require the Arabic version. Like we need to see the official one.
Okay. The second question is about when they submit their applications, and some of them submitted their applications and never heard back.
So we just started our admission in November. So they're gonna hear by the beginning of next year. So we're still reviewing. Nothing is going to be sent now. As long as they have submitted it and they have, like, they're sure they submitted everything, then their application is currently under review.
Okay. The second question is from Wadha. First of all, she's an international affairs graduate, and her question is whether she can apply to the JD degree or not.
Yes, so as I said, all background and degrees are welcomed for the JD program. So the only program that we require the specific degree is the LLM in Business and International Economics.
All right. Would any of the faculty or the dean would like to respond to that question as well, to encourage perhaps Wadha?
Absolutely. I'll chime in, and I would imagine some of my colleagues will as well. But background in international affairs, foreign relations is a really good fit for the kind of topics I think you already heard some of my colleagues speak about, because clearly having a grounding in international relations is it's not essential, but it gives you a perspective and it signals you're interested in international, and our offerings in the area of international and comparative law are some of the tops in the world. And of course, international law is very important here in the country and the region. But I would welcome input from any of my other colleagues.
Of current students and alumni who have come from exactly that background, who have absolutely loved the degree because they were set up to take part in the law degree with that background. If you want to contact me directly, I can put you in touch with some of those students and they can tell you how that background has fed into their experience on the course, and they can also tell you from a student's perspective what the degree is like. So feel free to contact me directly about that.
So Professor Demilola, do you want to chime in? Or is that enough?
That's good enough. Thank you.
All right. So another question is regarding submitting multiple applications. So the question is, if I apply for several programs, do I require to send different recommendation letters for each program, or 2 recommendation letters are enough?
It depends on the program they're applying to. So if they're applying for engineering, then we do require another recommendation letter, but it's something quite similar like humanities, then they can submit the same. Or if they have a general recommendation letter which does not specify any of the program, then it's fine. But they cannot send, because sometimes we received recommendation letter that specify that this applicant is applying to this specific program. In this situation, we do not accept this recommendation letter. But if it's just a general recommendation letter, then it's fine.
Right. Another question is regarding rejected applications. If someone was rejected last year, could they have a justification or feedback on the rejection, and could they apply again?
Yes, they can send an email to the email that was on the slide, the admissions email, with their name and email, and specifying that they're rejected, and then we can get back to them.
Does any of the faculty want to respond to this question, or would you like me to move on to the next?
Can I just say one thing, that the 3.0 GPA minimum is a firm rule here. Pretty much there's little flexibility in that. So that's just for everybody to be aware that it's important to stay focused on that.
From the faculty side, if your rejection did not relate to your GPA or your IELTS score, then yes, reapply, but be intentional when you reapply. Go back to your personal statement, go back to your CV and make sure that you've really put maybe a different personal statement from the last time round. Really think about what you're saying when you're applying for the law school. Use Google as a fantastic way to find good personal statements, what you should be including. Be thoughtful about your application. If you were rejected not on your academic credentials, then definitely reapply. But I would say take some time not to just resend your previous application. Think about why you want to come to law school, why you want to come to HBKU, and why you would be a good addition for HBKU. So be intentional in your reapplication.
Thank you, Hilary. So another question is regarding interviews. When an interview is being conducted, what do you look for in students other than a certain GPA? This is specifically about the JD program.
We're looking for someone who is really committed to coming on board, someone that can offer something to their peer group. A lot of the learning in the JD goes on between the students, and they will contribute to class and you will learn from one another. So we're looking for people who really understand what the degree is about and what they want to get from the degree and what they can contribute to the degree.
Thank you. So another question, and this is perhaps directed to Aisha Almir. When should they expect to hear back, and is there a hotline besides emails? Also, this is to all. Can the attendees have this presentation for reference?
Can get back to all applicants after the deadline of March 15. This is when they are expected to hear from us. So we might get back to them before, but for now the date we have is after March 15.
One of the attendees has 2 bachelors, a bachelor in law and another one in English translation at Damascus University. Is there any operation space for exemptions from IELTS requirements?
Degrees done in English? Because if either of the degrees were done in English language, there's no need for an IELTS score. But if they weren't, we would need IELTS or TOEFL score. Sorry, that's an Aisha Almir question, but I get carried away.
Dr. Hilary said yes, so you are required to, if either of the degree are in English, you are not required to submit the IELTS, but if they're both in Arabic, then yes, you are.
So the last question, I'm not sure if I understood it, or maybe not the last question, but I'm not sure if I understood it correctly. I'm interpreting here. Is it possible to be notified if the application has been submitted? Aisha, would you like to describe the process?
I think they can email us with their username, then I can check. This is the only way, because when they actually submit the application, after submitting it, they received a page that said, thank you for applying to this program. So I would say if they have not seen this page or they're worried, then they can just email me.
Okay. So this is the last question that we received. One of our attendees wrote, "I'm glad to be in attendance. Now, what's next?"
Apply.
Yeah, exactly. Apply immediately. That's it.
And we would have an echo because we really want to get students who want to be part of our community. To me, that's so important that if you have it in your heart, you want to be here. That's really important. So all the application materials are available through Aisha and the website. And you learned about what you need, and so we would encourage you to apply. So, and of course, as I indicated earlier, each of us is available to answer any of your questions, and you can get a hold of us just by Googling us, and we'll send you this presentation too. So.
We received another question. So can you speak about HBKU's partnership with Northwestern? Do graduates receive a joint degree? So maybe you could speak about the development of this law school, perhaps.
Yeah, I'm happy to do that as well, but would welcome my colleagues to chime in because I wasn't here at the founding. But the school was established in a partnership between HBKU and Northwestern University Pritzker School of Law in Illinois, and Northwestern had faculty as well as the founding dean came from Northwestern, who helped build the curriculum, working with our faculty and the program and the like. A few years ago, they decided, given that they had launched the school, that they needed to think maybe a bit about going back to Chicago and having a little more concentration of focus on the home campus. So we don't have a joint degree with them. Further, our degree will enable you to apply to LLM programs. I know we've had our students graduate and get offers of admission to Northwestern. You can apply. There's no cooperation, so to speak, in connection with that. I know that Northwestern LLM, they would love to get some of our graduates because, quite frankly, all of our graduates are outstanding, and as indicated by how well they're doing in these LLM programs. And so I'm hoping that one day we'll have one of our students there at Northwestern as well. But there's no joint degree, and the fact that you get the JD here doesn't mean you could go and transfer credits into Northwestern to either to another JD or to an LLM. But we're ever so grateful for all the help that Northwestern gave us in helping to establish HBKU law.
We're done with the questions, but if any of the panelists would like to give their final remarks, you're more than welcome.
I recommend everyone, if you're interested, if you want to join us, get your application in sooner rather than later. I know the deadlines are some way away, but lots of things will happen between now and then. Get it done now. Get your application underway, apply, reviewing applications in early course. Wouldn't it be nice to know sooner rather than later that we're going to welcome you next year? Get on with your application. Come and join us.
Well, we would like to thank you all for attending this session.
Aisha, if I could just chime in, I'm sorry to interrupt, but I want to thank you so much for all of your hard work in moderating the session, and we're ever so proud of our graduate. And for those who are with us in the audience now, you can see what this, obviously the degree itself didn't enable Aisha to become as talented as she is, but we hope that you will understand a little bit of influence that our faculty had. I'd also like to thank my colleagues on the faculty. I would also like to thank the wonderful communication staff and the admissions staff and the Dean of Students for all their help in putting this together today and their participation. And of course, I'd like to thank the audience for attending. And we're here, so feel free to send us an email if you have any questions. But I'll pass the floor back to you, Aisha, but I wanted to specifically thank you.
So one final remark is we wish you the best of luck, and we look forward to seeing your applications to the law school. Thank you all.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.